Did you know that 87% of men who are truly in love would never openly admit it? Hello, I'm Marian Roas Esteep, and today I'm going to share something that could completely change the way you see male behavior. In my 20 years as a psychiatrist, I've discovered that there's something like a secret code, an invisible language that men use unconsciously when they are head over heels in love, but try to hide it. And the fascinating part? They often don't even realize they're doing it. Before I go on, let me ask you something. Where are you watching me from right now? Maybe you're sitting in a quiet room, your phone glowing softly in your hand. Maybe you've been wondering about someone, a man whose words confuse you, whose actions pull you closer, even when his mouth says nothing at all. Whatever brought you here, this moment might be the mirror you didn't know you needed. Because today, we're not just decoding behavior. We're unmasking the silent language of the male heart, a language written not in words, but in glances, pauses, and the tremor of restraint. You see, the male brain is a fascinating paradox. When a man truly falls in love, not out of convenience or lust, but in that soul-deep way, something inside him begins to fight itself. His nervous system lights up like an alarm. His body betrays him while his mind tries to stay composed. Society has trained him since boyhood. Don't be too soft. Don't show weakness. Don't feel too much. But the truth is, no matter how strong he pretends to be, love leaks through the cracks. It reveals itself in the micro gestures. In those fleeting moments when his guard slips, a glance held half a second too long, the way his voice softens when he says your name, or how he unconsciously positions himself closer when another man enters the room. These are not coincidences. They are neurological signals, whispers from his unconscious mind, quietly confessing what his ego is too afraid to say out loud. Imagine this. You're having dinner with him, perhaps laughing about something trivial. And for a moment, the world around you blurs. You sense something in the air, a pulse of emotion you can't quite name. His words are casual, yet there's a depth behind them that doesn't match his tone. Your intuition feels it before logic can catch up. That subtle electricity that makes you wonder, does he feel it too? That question alone has haunted countless women. Because love, when hidden, doesn't vanish. It transforms. It turns into patterns, micro-expressions, and strange contradictions. He might look indifferent, but his body is a battlefield between desire and fear. And the more he tries to suppress it, the louder his silence becomes. Let's take the first hidden signal, what I call the obsessive side glance. A man in love, trying desperately to mask it, avoids direct eye contact when you speak. He's afraid that one unguarded second will betray everything he feels. But the moment you look away, his eyes return to you like a magnet. His brain needs to memorize your every move, the way your lips curve when you speak, the rhythm of your laugh, as if by studying you, he can calm the chaos inside. You can test it. Pretend to be busy with your phone, scroll aimlessly, and then suddenly turn toward him. If he's in love, you'll catch him staring, and in a split second, he'll look away. The faster and more nervously he does it, the deeper his feelings run. That's not shyness. That's his amygdala, the emotional center of the brain, on overdrive. It's biology wrapped in denial. The second sign is something I call reverse mirroring. It's fascinating because it looks like disinterest, but it's the opposite. When a man hides his feelings, his behavior often reverses what he truly feels. You laugh, he goes serious. You get quiet. He distracts himself. But his body tells another story. Watch his hands. Do they fidget when he talks to you? Does he cross his arms but keep his feet pointed toward you? These are unconscious leaks of truth. His nervous system betrays him, even when his mouth says, "I'm fine." And then there's the one that gives him away without fail, the memory he shouldn't have. A man who's secretly in love remembers details he shouldn't even notice. Maybe he forgets his best friend's birthday, but he remembers that you once said you like your coffee with 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. He'll casually order it that way one day and pretend it's random. He'll mention a song you told him about months ago, or recall the exact words you used when describing your childhood pet. It's not coincidence. It's emotional imprinting. When a man falls in love, the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, starts working overtime. His mind becomes a collector of moments connected to you. Every word, every gesture, every small fragment becomes a sacred record. Even if he wants to suppress it, his brain won't let him. Because love, in its purest form, is not a choice. It's a neurological takeover. But let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed these things and doubted yourself? Have you ever thought, maybe I'm imagining it? Women are often taught to question their intuition, but your body knows before your mind does. Your sensitivity is not weakness, it's perception. You sense the truth in subtleties because love is energy, and energy never lies. The fourth sign, perhaps the most telling one, is what I call the silent protector. He won't announce it. He won't say, "I'll take care of you." But his actions whisper it every time you're near. In a group, he'll subtly position himself where he can see you. If someone interrupts you, he'll gently interject, "Let her finish." When walking on the street, he'll naturally move to the side closest to the cars, not because he's thinking about it, but because his limbic system has already decided, keep her safe. This is the hidden instinct of a man whose heart is quietly attached. And the irony? The more he tries to hide his feelings, the stronger that instinct becomes. I've seen men rearrange entire rooms just to keep the woman they love within sight, while claiming, "We're just friends." It's almost poetic, isn't it? That love, when denied, doesn't disappear. It disguises itself as caution, as politeness, as coincidence. Yet beneath it all, it's burning to be seen. So the next time you catch him glancing your way, hesitating before speaking, or remembering something you said long ago, pause. Don't dismiss it. You might be witnessing the silent language of love, one written not in grand gestures, but in the trembling stillness between them. But there's another layer to this mystery, something far more complex than glances or gestures. It's what I call the paradox of presence and distance. A man who's in love, but hides it, becomes both near and far at once. He's not constantly available. That would be too revealing. But he's never completely gone either. Instead, he appears in waves. You text him, and hours pass before he answers. You tell yourself he's busy, maybe not interested. Yet when you finally write something that hints at sadness, exhaustion, or need, he replies instantly. Why? Because his attention is always tuned to your emotional frequency. His mind, no matter how disciplined, is subconsciously scanning for signals from you, tones of vulnerability, traces of affection, moments when you might need him. During small talk, he may seem distracted, half present. But when you speak about something real, something raw, his entire body shifts. His pupils widen, his shoulders soften, his breathing slows to match yours. In those seconds, you can almost hear the unspoken confession between heartbeats. I'm here. I feel you. That's the paradox. He's terrified of being seen too clearly, yet he cannot help but show up when your soul calls. His restraint is not indifference, it's protection, both of you and of himself. Because once he admits what he feels, everything changes. And for a man taught that control equals safety, that kind of surrender feels like stepping off a cliff. What makes it even more intriguing is what happens on a biological level. When someone is secretly in love, their mirror neurons, the parts of the brain responsible for empathy and emotional synchronization, start firing in perfect rhythm with the person they're drawn to. He'll start unconsciously mirroring your tone, your gestures, even your speech patterns. If you cross your arms, he might do it too, only to notice and quickly stop, as if his body betrayed him. You lean in. He follows. Then he leans back, as though he just touched something too intimate, too electric. It's like watching a dance between instinct and defense, the pull of connection colliding with the fear of exposure. And it's exhausting for him. Many men don't even understand why they feel so drained after seeing the woman they secretly love. But neuroscience explains it, that inner war between the emotional brain and the rational mind consumes enormous energy. The body reacts as if it's lived through both battle and longing. Listen closely next time you're with him. Notice the rhythm of his words. If he unconsciously matches your speech tempo, speeding up when you do, slowing down when you pause, you're witnessing that synchronization in real time. It's not deliberate. It's biology's way of saying you're already connected, even if he's fighting it. And then comes the most revealing signal of all, what I call the name dilemma. It's subtle, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. A man in love rarely says your name directly to your face. It's too charged, too intimate. He avoids it because it feels like saying your name out loud would expose everything he's hiding. Instead, he uses pronouns, soft nicknames, or nothing at all. But talk to his friends, and you'll hear your name everywhere. He mentions you all the time, they might say, smiling without realizing the depth of what that means. Because in your absence, he loses control. His guard drops. Your name becomes the doorway through which his emotions escape. And pay attention to how he reacts when someone else says your name. His pupils widen. His breath catches for a fraction of a second. He might even swallow hard, trying to suppress the surge of emotion that rises uninvited. It's one of the purest involuntary signs of hidden affection, the body responding faster than the mind can deny it. Even the way he pronounces your name tells a story. Softer, slower, almost reverent, as if each syllable carries weight. It's the sound of a man who's fighting to stay composed while his soul is whispering, "Don't let her see it. Not yet." But remember this. These signals don't stand alone. They form a pattern, a rhythm you can sense over time. A man who's truly in love but hiding it will show at least 5 of these behaviors repeatedly. The longer he hides, the clearer the signs become. Love, after all, is not designed to stay silent. It wants to be seen. It aches for expression, and suppression only makes it leak through the smallest cracks. Still, the question remains, why does he hide it at all? Why not just admit it? In almost every case, the answer is fear. Not arrogance, not games, just fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of losing what already exists. Fear of not being enough for the woman who makes his heart race in ways he can't explain. Most men are not raised to handle vulnerability. They're told to solve, not to feel, to win, not to risk. So when love enters, real, soul-stirring love, it dismantles the armor they've spent years building. And that's terrifying, because vulnerability means surrender, and surrender means uncertainty. This is where your power as a woman lies, Not in demanding a confession, but in creating an atmosphere of safety. When a man feels emotionally safe, his defenses begin to melt on their own. It's in the small things, the way you laugh without judgment, the way you listen without demanding clarity, the way you make space for silence without filling it with pressure. One of my patients, Carmen, 34 years old, once came to me confused, frustrated. She'd spent months wondering whether her colleague Miguel was interested or just polite. He remembered everything about her, protected her subtly, but never crossed the line. When she learned to recognize the signs and stopped pushing for answers, something shifted. She let the connection breathe. She laughed more. She allowed him to feel safe. 3 months later, Miguel confessed he had been in love with her for 2 years. He'd just been too afraid to ruin what they already had. What unlocked him wasn't confrontation. It was compassion. That's the real alchemy of understanding men. It's not manipulation, it's comprehension. When you see beyond the surface, beyond the silence, you begin to speak the emotional language he doesn't yet know how to express. And when that happens, when he finally realizes he's safe to feel, the transformation is profound. The man who once avoided your gaze begins to look at you with certainty. The one who once hid behind casual words starts speaking truths he's carried for years. That's when hidden love turns into visible devotion. But here's the truth that most people never tell you. Recognizing the signs is only the beginning. The real question is, what do you do once you see them? Because understanding his hidden love doesn't mean you have to wait forever for him to confess it. Awareness is power, but waiting for someone trapped in fear can become its own kind of silence. A quiet ache that steals your light one day at a time. Hidden love is not romantic the way movies make it look. It's heavy. It lives in the spaces between words, in the glances that almost meet, in the texts that stop mid-sentence because courage failed halfway through. It's a love that burns without air, a flame underwater. Impossible, contradictory, and yet undeniably real. The first thing to understand is this. When a man hides his feelings, it's rarely about you. It's about his history, his wounds, his fears. Some men have been taught that emotions are weakness. Others have lost before, and they promise themselves they would never fall that hard again. They build walls not because they don't feel, but because they feel too much. And if you stand before a man like that, patient, intuitive, brave enough to see beyond his silence, you become the mirror he's both drawn to and terrified of. Your role is not to chase the confession. It's to hold space for authenticity. Let him know, without words, that he doesn't have to perform strength in front of you, that he can exhale. Because real connection isn't born from forcing truth out of someone. It's born from allowing truth to unfold in its own time. Still, there's a fine line between compassion and self-abandonment. You can't heal him by dimming your own light. You can't prove your worth by waiting for someone who fears their own heart. Love must flow both ways to stay alive. If you find yourself constantly decoding signals but never hearing words, ask yourself, am I witnessing a man who's afraid to love, or one who's comfortable keeping me guessing? There's a difference, and your heart deserves to know it. When you truly understand male psychology, you begin to see that fear of rejection isn't just about being turned down. It's about the terror of exposure. To love is to be seen, fully and without control. For many men, that's a kind of nakedness more terrifying than physical vulnerability. That's why the signs you see, the subtle looks, the overthinking, the contradictions, are the ways he tries to protect himself while still staying near you. He's fighting two primal forces, the desire to connect and the instinct to survive. But love isn't meant to survive. It's meant to transform. And transformation demands risk. If you recognize these signs in someone, know this. His feelings are real, but you cannot carry both hearts alone. You can offer understanding, but not rescue. You can be his calm, but not his cure. Because a love that stays hidden too long begins to suffocate under its own silence. Set your boundaries. Give the connection time, but not eternity. Hidden love can be beautiful in its mystery, but if it never reaches daylight, it becomes a shadow that follows you instead of a bond that holds you. Remember Carmen and Miguel? Their story had a happy ending, not because she waited passively, but because she understood the balance, empathy without surrender, patience without self-loss. She gave him space to step into his own courage, and when he did, their love had room to breathe. And that's the lesson I want you to take away. Understanding the signs is not an invitation to chase. It's a mirror for your own strength. Because the truth is, the love that truly belongs to you will never need to hide forever. The man who's meant for you will eventually find his voice, no matter how long it takes. So use this knowledge not as a reason to hold on, but as clarity to decide. Don't fall in love with potential. Fall in love with presence. Don't get trapped in almost. You deserve absolutely. The greatest love stories aren't the ones filled with mystery and distance. They're the ones where two people meet in the middle. Vulnerable, flawed, seen. The kind of love that doesn't need decoding because it speaks in truth, not in silence. So yes, maybe he stares when you're not looking. Maybe he remembers every detail about you. Maybe he moves closer when danger appears, or disappears when emotions rise too high. But until he gathers the courage to step forward and say, "I feel this too," remember, your heart deserves a love that is brave, not hidden. The most powerful thing you can do for a man who loves you secretly is not to wait. It's to inspire him to rise, to show through your own self-respect that love is not meant to be whispered in the dark, but lived in the light. If he does find the courage, you'll feel it instantly, the way his energy shifts, the way his words stop dancing around what he truly wants to say. You'll see it in his eyes, steady this time, not darting away. You'll hear it in his voice, no tremor, no hesitation, just truth. That's the moment hidden love turns into real connection. But if he never does, let that be your closure, because knowing the signs is a gift, but so is knowing when to walk away from what refuses to surface. At the end of the day, the love that matters most is the one that shows itself, not the one that hides behind fear. Hidden love might feel poetic, but real love is peaceful. It's honest. It breathes. So tonight, if you find yourself thinking about someone whose silence confuses you, take a deep breath and remember this. Your intuition is not lying to you. You saw something real, but not everything real is meant to last. Some souls cross our path to awaken us, not to stay. And if you needed a sign to let go, or a sign to trust that what's meant for you won't need to be decoded, this is it. Because the kind of love you're meant to experience is not the kind that hides behind careful glances. It's the one that meets your eyes and doesn't look away. It's the kind that stands tall in daylight and says, "I choose you." So stay open, but stay grounded. See the signs, but see yourself more clearly. Because at the heart of it all, this isn't just about understanding men. It's about remembering your own worth. You deserve a love that doesn't tremble in silence. You deserve a love that speaks. And when it comes, you won't have to ask if it's real. You'll know. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it tonight. Someone who's tired of confusion, tired of almost, tired of waiting for words that never come. Let's remind every woman listening, hidden love might spark curiosity, but open love builds worlds. And until that love finds you, trust your intuition. It almost never fails. Because your heart, it knows.